Hello, how are you, everybody? Hello, it's Reading with John Couch Chat. I am John, your mega host.
That means you've been upgraded to host.
Yes, I've been mega stickily in 2021. Last year I was just host. Now I'm mega host. You see?
Now you're going to be mega.
I need to be mega.
No, it should be like max.
I'll be megastic next
And then you'll be max.
I'll max host. Anyway, all right. So I'm your host, June. I have with me
Jid. Hi, Jid.
What's your name?
Little J.
I have your co-host, Little J,
Host.
and your
Host, Big J.
excuse me, co-host, Big J.
Host, not sure about the host.
No. So these are the Jgirls, and today we are talking about house rules. Like we said, we are back on the show, and today we have a very interesting topic for you. Why don't you join us after this break? Thank you. And so we are back on break, and yes, we are discussing something. Can somebody tell me what are we discussing today? Stop. We are discussing.
STOP-SSCK. Not sick, as Little J famously said.
What?
He thought it was sick.
Yeah.
I didn't still think it was sick.
What did you think? Like, you used to think it was sick. So what? So what is what do we mean in terms of don't say SSCK yet? But let's just discuss what does stop mean to you as an individual, and what do you think stop is? So what does stop mean to you?
It means that you should pause and stop this video and like and subscribe, like I said last week.
So we are discussing a very interesting topic, and our topic today is stop. So that's what we are discussing, stop. So from us, we want to just discuss what stop means in terms of us as a family, as our house rules. But because of who we are, we like talking and just talking. So we'll just talk through what stop means, and then we'll now go down and drill it to us as a family, what stop means to us. So I kind of have a bit of a definition about what stop is, and I went into online and I got a bit of information. So if you look at that stop is quite small, but we'll enlarge it so you can see the bigger aspect. We got it from a website, definition.ws. So stop, from that website, it has a noun and it has a verb. So Little J, what is the noun that is described as stop there?
Well, the first one is the event of something ending.
In an event of something ending. So that means that stop means something is ending, apparently.
Can we put like every sort of aspect into a sentence? Like for the first one, Little J said, you could be like the movie
Ended.
stopped. Yeah.
The movie stopped. So the movie ended.
stopped.
So an act of stopping something. So if I stop recording, I have stopped that, and that's a stop. And then it also means to briefly stay on a course of a journey. So that's another meaning.
So that means like when you're walking
Mm.
and you stop to take some pictures of these like lovely flowers you just saw
Mhm.
next to the path.
Yeah.
That's stopping.
Yeah.
That's
And a state of inactivity.
after an interruption.
After an interruption. Jadaida, why did you stop doing your work? so I use that a lot, right? I use that a lot. So we said to briefly stop an activity. Now, stop could also mean a spot where something was halted or paused. I stopped eating after 3 spoons. Why?
Little J. Little J.
Little J. And another thing is a consonant produced by stopping the flow of air or something. So suddenly releasing something.
So like when you hold the bottom of a balloon when you've not like tied a knot in it or sealed it.
Yeah, so that's stopping the airflow. Good.
Going into science.
Now that's exactly. We mix everything, both science and literacy and everything. Now in terms of verb, now stop as an action word. We just looked at verb, stop as a noun. Now let's look at it as an action word. I think our topic today is more stop as an action word, not stop as a verb. So what is that? Let's say to come to a halt, stop moving. What's the next one?
An end to a state or an activity. So it's basically the noun, but in action form.
Because the noun
is like to put a stop.
Yeah.
But verb is like stop.
Stop. Yeah. Jet, what's the next one?
Stop from happening or developing.
To stop something from happening or developing, and to interrupt. To stop an action that's been occurring. Just to interrupt. Interrupt it.
It's not scary.
And then to cause to stop, and then to prevent from completion or to prevent from continuation. So if something is happening, we put a stop to it.
I think
so prevent it from continuation.
I think the definition we're looking at today is the first one.
Yeah.
Come to a halt. Stop moving.
Yeah, I think we can apply all that in what we are doing at home.
Well, not really prevent completion because you want to keep on doing what you're doing. If it's good. So if it's bad, then you don't want to.
Yeah. So exactly. So now, in terms of looking at it from an action that has started before, we have the word adjourn, which means to stop a proceeding. It's a legal word, so we are bringing legality. So we've talked about science of it, we've talked about literacy of it. Now, this is the legal part of stop. So to put a stop to something temporarily, to adjourn it for it, postpone it. So sometimes in homes or at home, we put a stop to what we are doing and say, okay, now let's leave this and go here. Can you give me an example where you had to postpone something in the house just to do something else?
We have had to postpone going outside in the snow to complete our schoolwork.
Yeah, so you had to postpone going outside in the snow yesterday because they didn't finish their schoolwork early, and so they couldn't go outside to go and play. So they halted that and temporarily put going outside to play on hold. And in other words, it's very important at home that we know when to stop and when not to stop. So when we give little J, when your work is 30 minutes, is scheduled for 30 minutes. What happened after 30 minutes? What do we usually tell you?
Go to another.
Exactly. So we say stop, go to another. So even though sometimes you've not finished it, right? But we adjourn that and we say go to another subject. Another way of visualizing stop is this. I think I really like this. It looks like a spider. Yeah, it looks like a spider web. So I like the way it is in terms of
it's like a spider diagram.
A spider diagram. Mind map. It's called a mind map. So just to visualize it. So we put stop in terms of a synonym and antonym. So let's start from the antonym. So we can look at the opposite. So the opposite of stop is to keep going, get going, continuous, go, start up. That's the
start is the one that comes to mind when I think of stop.
Exactly. But let's look at the synonym. So what other words can be used in terms of stop?
Halt. Arrest. Not always like you're going to prison.
Yeah.
No.
To arrest a situation, to stop something from going further, to put a stoppage to it, and to put a check. Okay, let's give an example of homes where children are being abused, or homes where a family member is being abused. What this word comes to mind because it's like halt, it puts arrest into that situation.
Or where something bad is happening.
Or something bad is happening. Yeah, exactly. Or when you can't actually control yourself in terms of your behavior, you have to use this word, stop. So as a family, we use this word because I remember when these girls were toddlers. I know toddlers have tantrums.
I was a toddler. I don't
You can't remember. Jet, were you a toddler? And why are you admiring me? Look at the camera. Were you a toddler, little you were once a toddler. Did you have?
She was only a baby.
Did you have tantrums? Did you have toddler tantrums? Did you? Yeah, little J. Little J had tantrums. Okay, so that was why this rule of stop came. So we had to hold some of it, and most of the time we had to ignore and say, look, no matter how you are. So hold. Sometimes we need to hold that desire. Sometimes we need to hold the way we want things to be done, And so let's quickly wrap up and go to our house. Ideally, in our house. This is how we apply stop in our house. SSK. SSCK. They keep correcting me. So now SSCK in our house means what, girls? What does it mean?
Slow down, self-control, calm, and kindness.
That we should slow down, we should have self-control, we should be calm, and we should be kind. And that's where our stop comes in. And so, girls, do we actually do this every time?
No.
So we don't always 100% do it. But what does it mean? It's a sign for us, and a signpost for us to follow. In terms of when we face a situation, stop means finishing something. Stop means close. Stop means stoppage, and all these things we've written there in that little diagram. But when it comes to us as a family, can you give us an example where these factors have come to play and it has been applied to you as an individual? It's okay if you say something where you couldn't apply it and then you went on a rampage.
Whenever I think of SSCK, I remember when I was like 4 or 5, when you first wrote that thing. I went to a violin lesson. I can't remember anything that happened in the lesson except my mom saying SSCK. That's all I can remember.
so she had to apply it. And I remember when Big J was a little bit, I think she was 5 or thereabout. She had a best friend, and the best friend came to visit. And then we went to visit the best friend's house, and then she saw one of the girls' stuff, like children's playing stuff. And Big J melted and said she had to bring it back home. It was so embarrassing. I didn't know what to do. Like, she had to have that thing, and it belonged to her friend. And for me, these are the reasons why these rules were put down, because I can simply just, as we're outside, we just say, SSCK, slow down, self-control, be calm, and show some kindness.
Now people know our secret coding. You guys can use it.
So I had to build all these words and restraint that when I use it outside, it's only them that know it, and it's only in the house that I can talk. So I talk less outside, and only in the car I just use codes outside. So we had to learn how to talk about slow down, self-control, be calm, and be kind. So you also learn to be firm as you are applying that. You are firm as we are applying stop into our lives. Little J, any situation where you remember stop? For me, as a mother, I have fallen short of this house rule many a time, especially when I start scolding. Girls, how is my scolding like?
hour later. An hour later.
An hour later.
An hour later.
An hour later. And so for me, I have to remind myself to stop talking, and it's interesting when you make the rule and you have to remind yourself of the rule you made. And so for me, when the girls are running me crazy, I have to deliberately remind myself to slow down, to have self-control, to calm down, and to be kind. And many times I try it, and sometimes I fail, which the girls can attest to, but I'm working on it, right? Yeah, so we are all working on it. And so today we just gave you a glimpse of a house rule called STOP-SSCK. So little J, are you telling me that you have not melted down before and I've told you calm down? Or you have not been unkind before and I reminded you to be kind? Little J,
I said she can't do that.
She can.
She can.
Little J, remember in the car when you want one sweet like that, or you want something, and you're just like, can I have? Can I have? Can I have?
No, we were reading a book one night.
Yeah.
And there was this part about this kid.
Yeah.
And they wanted to go to a party.
Yeah.
And all they were saying for the whole night was, I have a party. I'm so excited. It was so
Yeah. I think that also applies to you people, because there was a time in this house that I can't tell them where we are going to, because once I mention where we are going to, they would just like, oh, are we there yet? Are we there? Oh!
That's a nice 4. That's a nice 8.
Yes, like I was just like, okay, I now made the rule. I can't even tell them where we're going. So
we're older now.
Yeah, you really? Can you handle it now? Are you sure?
What?
Yes,
Yes, she can. Don't even say that.
Can you handle it now? Because once you tell them this is what we are going to do, you just say the next question, and too much question drives me crazy. I'm just like, can you just stop? And so that is us in terms of our house rule stop and how we apply it. Stop in terms of our self-control. When we are getting upset or we're getting emotional about things, we can control ourselves. When we want that thing desperately, I know that kids have a rule of, I have to have it now. One of the things I've taught the girls is, you don't have to have it now, because you're not going to die anyway. You won't. It's not life and death. Remember, I remember whenever they fall and little J cries, then I'll now look at her. Hey, yeah. Hey, are you going to lose your life on it? Oh, okay, get a life. It sounded as if I was callous, but I was trying to teach her there is more to life than just crying forever. You can't lose your life, and am I mean?
Angry.
Yeah, am I mean when I tell you to calm down and say, oh, yeah, are you going to lose your life? Or get a life? Oh, get a life. There is more to it than that, right? So kindness, that's a major one. Sometimes we say harsh words to each other. Do we?
Mm-hmm.
And so we remind ourselves about SSCK, that as we are talking and we interact with each other, we need to add a bit of kindness to it, which we all sometimes as a family, we are not as kind as we ought to be, or we are working on it. So that is our house rule stop. You can adopt it as your house rule now. And the question is, do you stop sometimes? So do you stop? Do you stop when you are so desirous of having that thing that you're so desperate of? Do you evaluate and say, is it necessary? Kids, it's possible to start applying this thing now, so that as you're growing up and become an adult, you can reevaluate your actions and ask yourself, is it necessary? Like I said, we've broken the rule many times, but at least we have it as a guide. And so we remind ourselves each time that if I fall down this time, I can go back and do better next time, because I need to keep stopping sometimes and thinking. Last time we did think before you act, and then that is just coming into stop. You see how it blends together. So because when you think, you stop first of all and ask yourself, is my action going to slowing down my action, applying some breaks on self-control, calming down, and then acting out in the way I should act out. And so we've gone through several years of practice, which we are still working on because we are humans after all. But this is our house rule. And so we want to say thank you for joining us today on Couch Chat. If you have any question, if you have any chat, if you have anything you want to discuss with us, and if you want to join us on this Couch Chat and discuss our house rule with us, we are welcome as a visitor, and then we would love to have you around. Once again, we want to say thank you. We hope to see you next week, Saturday, on Couch Chat. And on this note, we'll say
Bye.